Alright, this is part 7 of Blender Challenge 13, Modeling an Isometric Room. And I'm going to do a little bit more work on this thing here. I'm going to select the top face and Shift H to isolate it and look down from the top. And I'm going to create this groove here in geometry. Alright, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into edit mode and 1 for vertex selection. And I'm going to choose a couple of points that are opposite from each other. I'm going to press J to join. I'm going to do that there. And I'm going to select maybe these ones and J. And these ones and J. And I'm going to go like this. Like that, right? It's going to go up, across, and over. So then let's take that point, I'm just going to pull it out like that. Okay, so I'm going to go to edge selection. I press 2, and I'm going to get those guys there. Oops. Focus on that. So I think that's what I'm going to do there. Over and up. Okay. So with that selected, I'm going to press Control B to bevel and pull. I just want to separate them out a little bit. I'm going to roll my mouse up 1. So I've got this central line going through there. So I get those and I'm just going to pull them down. Like that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab these vertical edges here. Control B, split them. And roll my mouse up a few times to give it some curvature, like that. Now let's try just putting a bevel on the whole thing, just to smooth it out. And let's see how that looks. Alt-H, bring that back. So I got a little line in there now. Not overly visible, but hopefully it's okay. I just want to decide if I want to try, if I could even grab all of this to bevel the top and just make it a bit more visible. I just got to get all of the edges. And let's see if it would take a bevel. Control B. Yeah. Doesn't look that much more. I just added more geometry. It didn't really help me that much. Let's look from the top and let's just shift that over a bit. Okay, fair enough. Now, there's a little dot here. I think I'm going to do that as a little indentation. More geometry. So, come in here. Let's go into edit mode 2 for edge selection. Shift Alt and click that to get that circle there. Shift D to duplicate it and pull it out. Scale it down. P and separate it by selection. So I now have a new object there. Go to edit mode. And first of all, let's take off subdivision surface. F to make a face. E to extrude. Push it down. Select the whole thing. Push it in. Look from the top and just figure out where I want that. Kind of in the middle of that. Just anywhere. However, I'm going to select both of those and press the slash key so I can isolate them. Period key maybe to zoom in. And I just want to make sure that it's not on one of these edges. Okay. Let's come over here and make sure my faces are facing the right way, and they are. Okay, now, because this is just like a sort of a single plane, I can't really do a Boolean on it, a difference. I'll show you. So if I select Boolean and difference, I'm going to bring it up to the top, and I select this. It doesn't really do anything. You know, apply. Take this and hide it. There's no hole or anything. Let's come back. Okay, until that turns red, so it's not applied. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to choose, I think, union with this. Okay, I can apply that. Select the original one, delete it. So now I have that. But I do have some more. I have a hole there. So now I can come in here and I can delete those faces, and I do have a hole. So now I can, in edge selection, select all of this. Don't forget that piece. And I can now extrude down E and S and then F to make a face. So I now have that. Now I've got a bevel on this whole thing, but what I'm going to do is I want to switch this to angle. And I will also, let's say, make sure we shade smooth. Shading looks a little bit weird, so let's go over to weighted normal and auto smooth. Let's bring everything back. I now have a hole in there. Now I got the cavity shader on, and that's helping me to visualize stuff. I think that looks actually okay. Maybe I don't need to do any beveling. Now it's probably bigger than this hole is here, but you know, just so that it's visible. And I could still go in here, and if I had the whole thing selected, Control Plus. Let's see, Control Plus one more time. I can actually move this around if I wanted a different position. So okay, so let's go with that. Now I was thinking, you know, there's a lot of painting on here, and I want to do more stuff in Blender, so I'm thinking I might actually build a panel here that has a little bit of thickness that comes out from the wall, and do another one there, and even another one here. So I'm deviating from the reference a little bit now. All right. Just before I do that, though, I'm going to move that in a little bit, so sort of similar to this one, and I'm going to move it over. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's just select that and bring the 3D cursor there, and bring in a plane in that area. Let's rotate Y 90 and position it up. Select the edges and okay, I want this down a little bit of space there, so I might actually take, I think these are called monitor. I might grab that one too. I might, okay, hang on guys. Let's see here. There we go. I'll move them down like that. Let me go for something like that. Okay, one for vertex selection. I've got everything selected. It's just a plane, so I want to bevel, so I'm going to use Control Shift B. And I'm going to pull, and I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. So I got a total of 5 vertices in there just to give it a nice curvature. I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to extrude. I'll extrude backwards in the X, and I'll delete that back face. That may actually be a little bit thick for what I want to do. So I'm going to come to there, and let's bevel this edge here. Okay, now I can just do Control B and pull, and I'm just going to have 1, 2, yeah, okay, 3. That's quite a bit, but shade smooth, and we will just leave it like that for now. So I have a back on there, don't I? Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll delete that face, and I'll bring this in. Did I delete the front face too? I don't have a back face on there. I take it back. Okay. All right, let's move that into the wall. Okay. And adjust monitors. Pull them out a little bit, like that. And just get these a little bit more even. Okay, for this thing, I probably will do weighted normal and normal, just to watch it and see. Yeah, change a bit. Oh, and let's make sure, yeah, that's a problem. So let's flip those. Okay, cool. Let's take this and Shift D, move it over here to make this one here. Look from the front and in wireframe and vertex selection. Box select these, don't just scale it. Box select them so I keep the curvature, but I scale it in. Say bring it out to about there. Let's see what that looks like. I could live with that. Okay, I'm going to take one of these, Shift D, and rotate Z90. And I'm going to scale it down quite small. And let's see, bring it up, back in, to create this thing here. I'll scale that in the X a bit. Okay, now let's just focus on these and sort of center that up. Like that, and then you can see that there are these things here. I'm going to actually create indentations, so I'll select this and I'll Shift S cursor to select it, bring my 3D cursor there, and then bring in a plane and scale it down to the size that I want. Scale that in the Y and in the X. Rotate Y90. I'll pull it out. That's still too big, I think. Just scale it down. Start bringing it over. And let's bevel that before we go any further. One, it's a plane, so Shift Control B to bevel. And just hold Shift if it goes too fast. Let's do that. Select it. Let's extrude out to give it some thickness so we can push it back in. Let's make sure we're moving in the right direction by doing that. Yes. Okay, and let's push it back in and over a bit, and then we'll add an array in the Y. So just start pulling out the Y. But let's get rid of the X. Let's go for 4. And then press G to grab, and then just sort of center it under that, and look at the sides and get it roughly in the middle. Let's see if I like the positioning. It looks pretty good. I'm not gonna worry too much. But this is open at the back, so I won't do a good difference boolean. So what I'll do is in edge selection, I'll Shift Alt click there, F. I'll temporarily make a face. I'll select the main body here. I'm going to choose Boolean. I'll bring it up, difference, and I'll choose those and apply and hide those. And I see something, but it's not that much. So part of the reason may be that. Let's turn that off for now, actually, and let's turn that back off. You see that? So okay, so let's see. Let's get rid of these actually. And just focus back on that again, and I'm going to bevel those edges. So, whoops, I'm going to select the outer edges. I'm holding Shift and Alt and trying to get just the outer edges. And that looks okay. So let's do Control B and C. All right, let's roll back to 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it is looking kind of weird. I could try just weighted normal now with auto smooth on. And that's probably going to be okay. And now I can come in here, and if I really wanted to, I can delete that back face. And I'll leave those closed off. So bring everything back. Now, what I might be seeing the wall here, or I might not be. I don't know how far I went back, so I don't really care. It looks all right to me. So I have that piece there. And then what I thought I would do is this panel, this thing here. I just want to scale it down a bit and move it down and just kind of look and see if it looks, you know, in the right position. I think it does. Okay, so now I'm going to take this guy here and we will Shift D, rotate Z 90 minus, and bring it back in. I'm going to use that. And we'll scale it first and then we'll push it against the wall. Oops. So I'm going to box select these vertices and pull them in. Just like this. And these ones I think I'll pull down under that. You know what? Maybe this panel will actually go up a little bit. Like that. Okay, now let's work on getting this thing. Let's move it away from the wall and turn on snap to face. Okay, and just bring it in and snap it to there. Turn that off. And then for the panel, I just want to make sure that it looks like it's attached, touching. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. Let's make sure everybody is facing the right way. They are. Let's save. And then I just want to make sure that this panel, let's make sure this one's on the wall. Let's bring it out and snap it to there. I think that's okay. I can double check all that stuff later. Yeah, okay. I'm just now looking at this, trying to decide if let's just focus on those things there. Shift H. I don't care if I didn't get the whole thing. Just to see if it looks like they're centered. I think maybe it's okay. All right. So we got that so far. Let's come over to Shadow, Matte Cap, and I'm just going to grab I don't know which one. Just so I can see my shadows and my reflections. Oh yeah, one thing I do want to do, now that I think about it, is the pod. Okay. I better take these and put them just in there. So I should have just the pod, right? Yeah, I just want to scale that down. Maybe not that much, actually. I mean, I could go on and put more details on this, which is what I would normally do. I mean, these things here, I feel like they're kind of some kind of computer things or some kind of electronics, but if I go to the diagram, it looks like that. So I've done this little thing here, and I've done this with that, and I put one of those over here, and I did some stuff on the top, and we'll see what comes next.